Hello everyone, welcome to Learning with Leah. I'm so glad that you could join me today. So today we are talking about some prepositions at, in, and on that really seem to confuse ESL learners and can be really tricky knowing when to use which one. So today I'm going to talk about two different areas in which we use these. We're going to talk about time and how to use at, on, and in the time manner. We're also going to talk about it with places. So I'm going to hopefully kill two birds with one stone, right? That's a common English phrase, or idiom, I should say. We're going to kill two birds with one stone and get it done in one video. So you hopefully will be able to understand how to use these prepositions a little bit better. So, if you have not seen this before, this is called the triangle method. All right, so you can see we have a triangle going on here. So basically, what this symbolizes is that in we use, this is at the base of the triangle, we use for the most general things. And as we go up the triangle, it becomes more specific. So it starts out very general with in, on is a little more specific, and then at is the most specific. So we're going to see how when we talk about places, if we are talking about in, it's most general, and then on becomes a little more specific, and then at becomes the most specific. And then same thing for time. So in these places here, in you're talking about the most general times. On, we talk about more, a little more specific times. And then at is the most specific time. So it kind of goes up from general to specific. So that's kind of a general rule that you can use as you are trying to understand and trying to use these prepositions correctly. If you can try to remember in, on, and at, and in that triangle, that's going to help you as you're trying to use them correctly. So let's get started with time. We're going to jump in. So with time, let's start with the most general, and we're going to work our way up. As I said before, in is the most general. So we use in to refer to times that are they're least specific and most general. So parts of the day, like the morning, the afternoon, the evening. When we're just talking about a part of the day, we're going to use in. So in the morning, I brush my teeth. When we talk about seasons, spring, summer, fall, winter, we say in. In the summer, I love to go swimming. Oops, I forgot to add in for week. So we'll say 5 weeks. So if we are talking about a timeline, maybe you are pregnant and you say, well, I will have my baby in 5 weeks, for example. Or something that you are talking about, a length of time, we refer to in, right? It's a bigger time frame. So all of these are bigger time frames, and these are small time frames. Again, more specific. So month, the month of the year, we use in. So in January, in the United States where I live, it snows. In January. The year, in 1992, right? In 1992, my brother was born. Okay, in the 1960s was when this happened. Okay, that would be the decade. And then the century, right? So we could talk about the century in the 2000s, in the 1900s, in the 1800s. So again, all of these we use in because it's the most general, the bigger, more broad categories to talk about time. Moving on, we're going to talk about on. So with on, we have a little more specific. time frames. Days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? We say on Monday, I go to work. On Friday, I am going shopping, for example. If we have a specific date, we use on as well. So on September 7th, on July 4th, it is a holiday in the United States, for example. On special days, such as your birthday, you say on, right? On September 6th is my brother's birthday, for example. Holidays. So when we are referring to the specific holiday, and you were talking about something happening on that day, we use on. So I might say, my family always has dinner and has a celebration on Easter. Right? We always celebrate on Easter. Also, when we are talking about a day plus part of a day, that's kind of confusing, but think about a day. So that would be like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, for example, and then a part of the day. So a part of the day would be like the morning, the afternoon, the evening. If we add those together, Sunday evening, we use on. Why do we do that? I'm not sure. Because for parts of the day we say in, but if it's specific, we specify a little more and use the day, then we would use on. On Sunday morning, I go to church, for example. All right, so that is on. So we have gotten in, on, and now at. At is the most specific, the smallest amounts of time. So when we are talking about a specific time, like at 3:03, my sister was born, right? At a specific time, or at 5 o'clock. No matter how you say the time, you are going to use at. You never use in or on for the time. Also, if we are talking about like midnight or noon, we use at. So any time that we use a time frame, we use at. And even if we refer to something like the moment, we're saying, well, at the moment, I'm very happy, right? If we are talking about this time right now, we say the moment, we will use at. So that is how we talk about these different time frames. So if in is the most general, then a little more specific with on, and then at is the most specific. Now let's dive into places. All right, so it's the same rule, it's just with places now. So again, in is the most general, on is a little more specific, at is the most specific. We'll start down here. So if we are talking about a neighborhood or an area, we use in. So that would be like Queens, New York, for example. That's an area of a city. It's not a city, but it's an area in this city. It could be a neighborhood you refer to, or the world. Anything that is a section or an area, we use in. A continent, all right, if we're referring to a continent, like Europe, Asia, North America, South America, those things, Africa, we are going to use in. Country, any country, wherever you are from, post a comment below, I'd love to see where you're from. A country, we are going to use in, all right? So make sure you write a full sentence and you say, I live in your country. Right? Make sure you use the right preposition. A state, if your city or the state that you live in, we also use in. So Alabama is a state, or Washington, D.C. is a city. Again, all of these you can see are larger places. They're not specific, they're more general, they're larger. It's larger measurements, and that's why we use in. Next, we're going to move to on. So when we are talking about transportation and the mode of transportation, we are going to use on. So when you are talking about you are on the bus, your body is in the bus and you're talking to somebody, you might say, oh, I'm on the bus right now, or I'm on the train right now, I'm on the plane. That is what we will use here. Sometimes we do use in when we are talking about physically where you are at, but it's kind of sometimes confusing. But the rule of thumb, I would say most of the time you're going to use on. Okay. If you're talking about the floor in a building, maybe there's many floors. Maybe you live in an apartment and you are on a floor. The first floor, second floor, third floor, you're going to use on. If we are talking about a highway or a state route or an interstate, any sort of large driving area, we are going to use on. So 505, I-70, those are just some names of some highways. Or a street, a road, an avenue, any sort of street we can use on. So Main Street, 17th Street, whatever street, road, avenue, boulevard, whatever you use, we will use on. So that becomes a little more specific. And then the most specific would be all of like the addresses and whatnot. So we're going to use at for that. So if we're referring to the name of a place, for example, the Marriott is the name of a hotel. Any sort of name that you are talking about, the name of a restaurant, the name of a hotel, or any place that you are going. I am going to, you might say, hi, I am at the Marriott right now. The address, you're talking about an address, 123 3rd Street, right? Now, if you're just saying the street, you're going to say on. But if you're including the numbers, the specific address, then you are going to use at. That's very important. So if you say, I live on 3rd Street, then you use on. If you're just talking about the street. But if you specify the address and the numbers, I live on 123, or I live at 123 3rd Street, we use at. And then also the place. So the place where you are at. So if it's a hotel, if it's a station, if it's the bus stop, if it's whatever place you are at, if it has a general name, like the Marriott's the specific proper noun, right? It's the specific name. But if there's a general place that you are at, such as a hotel, a station, a bus stop, you will use at. As you can tell, it becomes more specific the higher you go. All right, so now we have time and place. Hopefully you now know how to use those properly. So let's do some practice next. All right, so someone suggested on my last video to include some practice for you. So that's what I'm doing now. So I have 8 different sentences, 4 for time and 4 for place, that uses at, on, and in. So now that you have learned how to use those correctly, now I want you to complete these sentences. And then I want you to comment in below the video with the correct answers. So that way I can see if you are understanding, and I will correct you back if there are mistakes. I'm going to get out of the way, and you can either pause the video or screenshot this and fill in the blank. So remember, the options are either in, on, or at. Okay, so, and I'll do the little triangle right here. Okay, all right, so at is the most specific, in is the least specific, and on is in the middle. All right, so I want you to complete this, and then I will comment with some answers, and I will correct you if you have any mistakes that need to be corrected. All right, so thank you so much. I hope this helps. Again, please let me know if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see from me. I'm here for you, so I would love to help you in any way that I can. All right, thank you for watching, everyone. I hope this was helpful. Make sure you subscribe if you would like to see more. We'll see you next time. Bye.